Hi there, my name is Foyzul Rahman and I am a research fellow at the University of Birmingham, and today as part of Brain Awareness Week 2021 I'll be talking to you about language fitness and the aging brain, specifically on a project known as the FAB study. And at the end of the video I'll show you how you hopefully can get involved in our project, and if you want to find out more I'll also provide my contact details. So let's begin. So with aging, as we know, there are changes to our physical health, but there are also changes in the brain. And this sort of age-related change leads to a deterioration of general cognitive abilities. So abilities such as language, such as memory, such as reasoning, processing demands, and speeds also all decline with age. And they're not uniform, but they do decline with age. And like I said, some are preserved, however. One aspect that is preserved, as you will see from this quite busy chart, which I'll hopefully talk you through now, is that vocabulary does seem to remain stable and even improve actually with age, whereas the other abilities do decline. So as you can see, processing speed, memory, reasoning, and the rest from the sort of second decade of life onwards do decline, and some quite sharply as well. But vocabulary, as you can see, does increase. So vocabulary is sort of word knowledge, how many words you know and can define. So aging in language, not all language functions decline with age, as we have seen, but the declines are seen in other aspects of language processing. So there's decline in retrieval and production. Particularly one aspect that we see a decline in is in the aspect of word retrieval, or retrieval in general, which is known as and one way of measuring this is through the tip of the tongue phenomenon, where participants might know a particular object or a person, but it's at the tip of their tongue, but they are unable to immediately recall the correct name of that. And so this is a strong conviction of knowing a word but being unable to produce it, unable to retrieve it from your memory. And this mostly occurs, we see, in with proper nouns, with names of things. So again, here I've got an example of Die Hard films. Who's the lead actor? You might quickly say Bruce Willis, but others might struggle, or at least know it but not be able to produce it immediately. And this is known as a tip of the tongue state. And we have seen from the work that we've done here in our group that elderly participants show more tip of the tongue states proportionally to younger participants. So younger adults are better at this than older adults, i.e. older adults have more tip of the tongue states in general. In this example here, the higher the bar, the more errors that or the more prevalence of tip of the tongue states that there were. And as you can see, elderly participants had more. So let's test yourself very quickly then. I'm going to show you some pictures. If you know them, obviously just shout them. I can't hear you, it's a video, but just keep account of for yourselves. Move on. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Sorry, I moved on quite quickly there to keep the video short. So most of you would have known them 100% straight away, but some of you might have known them but been unable to correctly recall their name. You might be able to say how many syllables they were, or what the name begins with, or even what it sounds like, but you are unable to produce the precise name, and that's a tip of the tongue state. So exercise and aging. So going back to cognitive aging, we know that the effects of aging are not reversible, they're irreversible sadly, but some lifestyle and genetic factors can protect against this decline, and this is known as or slow it down, and this is known as successful aging. A key predictor of cognitive performance in older age is physical fitness. So physical fitness does in part determine the level of cognitive performance in old age. And as we'll see here, again, quite a busy graph. So on the horizontal we have 5 groups of adults from the least fit to the most fit, and as you can see on the vertical we have the percentage or the proportion of impairment within that particular age group. And as you can see, the most fit adults, which is on the extreme right, had the lowest proportion of cognitive impairment relative to the other less fit older adults. So bringing it all together then, aging can disrupt cognitive functions including language abilities, And as we have seen, exercise can protect against some of these cognitive declines that we see in aging. We have shown in our group that physical fitness is related to specifically to word failures or tip of the tongue states in aging, in that get the evidence here, in that yes, elderly participants have more tip of the tongue states or word failures relative to young people, but within older participants, those who were fit had fewer word failures than those who were unfit. So even in aging, we can predict tip of the tongue states or word failures through exercise or how fit someone was. And again, this is a good thing. This means that we can do something about it. It's not something that's immutable. We can actually intervene and do something about these word failures. And again, we can see the relationship, I'll go over this quickly, between aerobic fitness and tip of the tongue states, where as aerobic fitness increases, tip of the tongue states also decreases. So join us, we need your help. So we are now running a study at the University of Birmingham at the Centre for Human Brain Health, and I've got my contact details and my colleague's contact details at the bottom, Katrine Sigert, and we are looking again to extend this project through an also MRI scanning and giving participants a exercise intervention to see how over the course of a set of time how exercise can affect tip of the tongue states in aging. So you have to be 18 to 35 or 60 to 85 to take part, right-handed, and you have to be relatively fit and well. So if you're interested in taking part, or you want to know anything more, even if you don't want to take part and you are interested in the research area generally, drop me a line and I'll be happy to talk about it. No, that's no problem at all. So thank you for listening. My name is Foyzul Rahman at the University of Birmingham, and like I said, if you like the video or interested in anything else, just drop me a line and I'll be happy to have a chat. Thank you.